Hi everyone, this is JP from dinnerwithjp.com. Tonight, or today actually, because it's not night, it's the day, I'm doing a special one for our friend Laura who lives in Townsville in Australia, and it's Noah's birthday, and we spoke to her this morning on Skype and she'd like to do a birthday cake. So we're going to do a birthday cake together. It should take about half an hour altogether, and there will be cooking time obviously. Then we put the icing on to show how to do the birthday cake. Alright, let's start straight away. We've got 170 grams of self-raising flour, 170 grams of sugar, we've got 3 eggs, we've got 170 grams of butter, so it's quite easy to remember, 170 grams of everything, 3 eggs, okay? That's for the ingredients for that. And then we've got some icing sugar, which you buy in packets. We've got blue for the sea, because the theme of the birthday cake is I was going to say grenouille in French, is frogs. And then we've got a bit of green for the frog on the top. Okay, so let's start with a mixing bowl. Now obviously this is for a theme special request, but if you'd like to do a special request as well, don't forget you can email me at jp@dinnerwithjp.com, and I'll be very pleased to accommodate as much as I can. So what I'm going to do to begin with, I'm going to take a small pan, put the butter in it, and then put it on the stove just to melt the butter, so it actually goes quicker with the sugar. So we take the sugar. For this we're going to need a whisk, which I have one somewhere. There we go. That's right. And we're going to need some pepper as well, some grease paper to do the icing. Now, while the I put it on the white fire, that probably works better. While the butter melts, what we're going to do is open the packet, but I'm just going to give it a good clean on the surface, make sure it's all lovely. So, greasing paper, that's what we're going to use for the icing later. Okay, so we're going to put it out and put it on the top after. So what I'm going to do now is for the icing, I'm just going to open it so it breathes a little bit. The icing has to be fairly warm to be able to mold it properly. Excuse me. So we've got the green icing for the frog. And we have the blue icing for the sea. Now we will put, so this is just an example, you can put whatever colors you want for the cake obviously. This is just for Laura, for Noah's birthday, who is turning 2. He was here not long ago, I think that's just before Christmas. We caught up for lunch, and we like Noah. Okay, so my butter is melting slowly. So you can see the icing is fairly hard at the moment, but if you leave it outside, I'm going to put it above the stove above the oven, so it can actually sort of get a bit softer for that. Right. So the butter is melting nicely. So how we're going to do this is very simple. We're going to take the sugar and the butter together. We're going to mix it. This is for the so I find a mold, okay. So what we're going to do, the butter is now melted, okay. Now I'm going to do this with a brush, but if you don't have a brush, just use with a bit of paper. Just plunge the brush into the butter and put some butter at the bottom. Now this is a non-stick mold, as you can see, but it doesn't matter. It's always nice to put a bit of butter so it doesn't, just ensure it doesn't stick at all. So just a little bit. Don't be afraid to, there we go. So it's nicely buttered all around, so make sure it doesn't stick. Okay, so what we're going to do now is mix the sugar and the butter together. Okay. Take a little while to do do so, especially if you splash it all over your clothes. Try not to do that. Okay, very well. So you get a nice consistency. You won't actually melt the sugar, but you want it nicely incorporated into the batter. Okay, that's lovely. So then we take one egg at a time, break the egg into the bowl, like so. There we go. So slowly put the egg in there. Okay, it's starting to look more like a paste. Lovely. That's one egg. Let's put another one in. Okay, that's two. So keep going. It's going to become white slowly because it means the sugar is actually cooking the egg, believe it or not. That's it. Let's put number 3. Sorry about the noise. So I hope, Laura, you're watching from Australia. You say you'll be doing this on Wednesday morning, so good luck. This is a very simple recipe, so you can't go wrong. Oh, I forgot to mention, we will put obviously fresh cream and then some jam inside the cake as well. Okay, that looks absolutely lovely. So then I take my sieve and slowly going to incorporate the flour in the mix. So just take a knife and make sure it goes inside. Not too much at a time. There we go. You see, it's very lovely. And then we're going to cook this. Make sure your oven is on, preheated at 170. It's about Mark 5, I think, on a normal gas oven. And we're going to cook it for 25 minutes. So we will take a break. 25 minutes. So you got time to do more preparation for the birthday. According to Laura, it's the rainy season at the moment in Townsville, in Australia. Townsville is it's quite far away to get there actually. According to Laura, you need quite a, it's not just flying to Australia, which is about 20 something hours, 23 hours I think, but then you have to take internal transportation and planes again to go to Townsville. But I'm hoping that one day we will go over there. It would be great. I've been to Australia twice before, but only sort of Sydney and Melbourne side. There we go. Lovely. So I think our mix is now ready. So we're going to put this in the sink and we're going to fill up the mold. So this is your mold and basically you just fill it up. Everything you've got in that bowl must go inside, no waste. So take a spoon and scoop it all in. This is for a normal size birthday cake. But obviously if you want a bigger one, you just double the measure. And the problem with birthday cake is you have to find a mold which is big enough to put everything in. Okay. Oh, icing sugar is looking very soft, which is great. So I say you put the icing sugar next to the oven, not far from the oven. Well, and I'm going to put my mix, which is ready, into the oven for 25 minutes. Okay, and we put it in the middle shelf. I'm just going to there's a shelf above, just in case if you rise too much, you never know. You may have a great success. So middle shelf, 170 degrees, which is about Mark 5, in the oven for 25 minutes. Now 25-30 minutes, so be a bit patient. So I'll come back in 30 minutes, and then we can carry on. The icing will be nice and soft by then, and then we can fill the cake as well with, I've got strawberry jam for it, and some fresh cream, which we'll put in the middle. Okay, so I shall see you in 25 minutes. Take care. Right, it's been half an hour now, so I think the cake is now ready. So I'm just going to take it out of the oven. Make sure, oh look at that, lovely. So you can see it's ready. Lovely birthday cake. Okay, so what we're going to do is we take it off the mold. So to make sure you it doesn't stick to the mold, you just go around with a knife, like so. Okay, and then if you got one of those tin, which you need to really for that kind of cake, you just push it off and leave it on the side. There we go. So we've got a nice cake here. Okay, so it looks absolutely lovely. So what we need to do now, we need to let it cool, because if we don't, it will actually melt the sugar on the icing. So we're going to let it cool for about probably another half an hour. Then it looks absolutely lovely. And when it's cool, it'll be easier to take off the bottom of the mold as well. So we're going to let it cool in a corner. I'm just about to open the window for half an hour. Leave it outside, and we'll see you in about 30 minutes. So that will be cool. I'm going to start cutting, filling the cake, and then put the icing on the top. Alright? I'll see you in a half an hour. Hey, welcome back. So it's been a half an hour now. My cake is now actually ready. I turn it around a little bit earlier, make sure it cooled down. So it's nice and cold now. So what we're going to do, we're going to get it ready for the jam and for the cream as well. We've got double cream. Okay, so what you do, you obviously take it off the mold itself. Then we're going to cut it in slices. So for that you need a very sharp knife or bread knife. Now I've got a very big bread knife, I don't know if you can see, but a very sharp knife will do as well. So what you do, you sort of cut it in 3 different places. So make sure you get it nice and straight all the way. There we go. So there's one. So you see we've got a slice. So careful when you turn it around. If it's too fresh it will break otherwise, like I've just done. But don't worry about it. That's the beauty of a cake. You can always put it back together. There you go. So I goes back here. So that's one. Okay. So I'm going to use another plate just to put this one here. So it's quite good because you can see it's not actually perfect. So there we go. That's one slice. Then now for the next bit, turn the plate, turn it around so you don't break it down. And what we're going to do is just take the top of it, the sort of round shape on the top. So just cut to the side of the crust like that. So cut slowly, so you got flat. I'm going to use a normal knife actually. It's probably better because it's still very fresh. So, oh yes, much better. You see, I've learned something as well now. So cut the top. So turn it around. Don't be afraid to turn it around. So you turn the bowl, not the cake. So we're going to end up with a flat. Okay. So you put your knife in between. Make sure you can see properly. I should put it down a little bit so you can see. You put your knife in between. Now if you got 2 knives it's better, but just 1 knife and you see. So you got now 2 flat bits for the cake. Now obviously because you want to move the cake around a little bit after that, we're going to put the bottom of the cake mold back underneath the cake like that. So we will be able to move it around later time when we are finished with it. Okay, so we've got a nice bit here. So we move this away, and then very simply you take, to begin with, some nice strawberry marmalade or jam, and then you put it on the top. Actually, I just realized it's not strawberry, it's wild blueberry. Even better. So there we go. That looks absolutely lovely. So don't be afraid to put a generous amount on it. Now I'm just going to put some on a broken bit on the corner. So plenty of jam there. You can nick the spoon if you want to. Oh, lovely. Okay, then we're going to do a little trick here. Now to give a bit of height to the cake, we're going to put the sort of middle bit, the one we just cut off, okay, that bit on the top of it. And that's going to give a bit of height to our cake later. Now, next thing is, we're going to do the cream. Now the reason I didn't do cream earlier, because if you do it too early, sometimes actually it does go down again. Now, because we got time to do it properly, we're going to do it properly. So we just want probably about half of a pot. So that's 300 milliliters of cream. So half of that. Okay. Then we're going to whisk it, so you can turn it into a sort of powder cream. So next you've got, as you see, don't be afraid to be good with. Now, obviously, if you got one of those electric ones, much better. Just sort of give you a little break on the wrist. Now, see there already, you can see. Now, you can actually use one of those, you know, the mixer you use for the soups. It actually works as well. But because we don't have that much cream, it's easier to. Okay, at that point I'm just going to put a little bit of icing sugar, which was on the recipe, into it. There we go. I'm going to put a bit of icing sugar, which was on the recipe. There we go. Just to give a bit of sweetness to the cream. Look at that. Let's try. I'm just going to put a little bit more icing sugar, just to make sure nice and sweet. And we have a lovely cream ready. There we go. You can see, and it's ready. So that was quick, couple of minutes. Then what we're going to do is to take our cream and put it on top of our cake. Now for that I will use a knife, my knife. So I'm just going to take 2 spoons full and just put it on top of it, like so. Then you take your knife and you just put it all around like that. Now make sure there's more on the side than there is on the top, so you kind of level the cake a little bit again. So I'm just going to put a bit more because that's what I love about cakes. You can be as messy as you want. There we go. Oh, what was the key? I used to make cake with my mum, and it's the beauty of it. You can actually be as messy as you want. Nobody cares because you're just making a cake, and it's okay. So try to level like that. Look at this. That's going to be a wonderful birthday cake. Okay, so I'm just going to put this here for a minute. Then I'm putting the last bit. Now when you take it again, make sure you take it with a knife underneath so you don't break it. So knife underneath, your hand on the side, and put it right to the top. Look at this. Now I'm going to put a bit more of jam. Okay, on the top like that, not too much, just to give a bit of a, because that's going to be the top of the cake, so you don't want it too wobbly. But it's a birthday cake, it's not a wedding cake, it's a birthday cake, make at home, for fun, for the occasion. So, you know, if it's perfect, people will think you bought it from the shop. So just enough to cover the top. There we go. So as you can see, we've got all this cream going around, so just go around like that, make sure it's all nice and level. This cream is actually lovely. Perfect. Absolutely wonderful. So, we've done all that. So, sorry, can't stop eating it, I love it. It's so nice. So now we have the base for the cake. Okay, so we've got the jam on the top, we've got the cream in the middle, we've got jam on the one before that, and that's it. So all we need to do now is to put the icing on the top, which we're going to do in a minute. Okay, so if you want to tidy up a little bit, because one of the things with the icing, you need to have a very perfectly clean space. Right, the cake is ready now, so we put the cream and we put the jam as well on the top, so it's ready for that. Now what we're going to do now is the icing. So I'm going to show you sort of the principle of the icing, but sort of make it a bit quicker. I've done the white one already, which I put some greasy paper because it takes a bit longer to do, but you'll see the principle is exactly the same. Now, this is pre-made icing, which I bought in a shop. Most shops sell them. It's quicker and it's better. Now, if you don't have any pre-made icing, well, you just have to go make some icing. And to make some icing is actually quite, I'm just going to clean, make sure it's super clean. You just have to mix some icing sugar with water and white egg, and to get a nice thick consistency, then we put it in the fridge and it will sort of harden. Okay, so this is my icing. So the little trick for the icing is basically it's like dough or pastry. Instead of using a flour, use icing sugar. So put icing sugar there on the top. You take your rolling pin, nice and clean. A bit of icing sugar as well on the pin, makes sort of non-sticky, and you sort of bat it a bit like that. Now, don't worry about the white because it will actually disappear. Now that's going to be to make the frog and the water lily. So when it sticks a bit like that, just turn it around. See, it's sticking a little bit. Make sure you clean it. Put some icing sugar everywhere, and you carry on. As the icing sugar, the white will disappear, and I'll show you how you do that. So that's going to be very simple. So what you do, you take a round, something round. So I'm going to use this. Actually, something a bit bigger, maybe. We'll just do a round with a knife. So take a nice piece, then you know, nice. Water lilies are not perfect anyway, so there we go. So that's going to be for the water lily. See a nice sort of roundish piece. There we go. Then I'm going to take some little strips, long strips, some here. So I'm going to take 2 of those, and you'll see why in a minute. So 2 long strips. Okay, so you just leave them with next to the round bit. There we go. And then you take your icing again. Just stick a little bit. And then what we're going to do is the frog with this. So to make the frog very simple, you take a small bit like that you put a little sausage shape. You run it like that. Okay. Then you take 2 small bits and you make 2 small sausages like that with your hand. Actually, it's just going to be more than enough, I think. So I'm just going to do in 2. So you got 2 little sausages like that. So hope you can see. So I've got 2 little sausages. I've got sort of a bigger, fatter sausage, and then we're going to make another sausage. Sort of 2 roundy sausage like that. So 1 and 2. Make sure they're more or less the same size. This is a bit. There we go. Okay, so that's our lily and our frog. Okay. And you see what we're going to do with it. Right, so I'm going to take my cake. Now, as I said, to sort of make it a bit time earlier, I actually did a white one like that, so more icing sugar obviously, which I put on a piece of greasy paper. So what I'm going to do is take the white one and just put it in the middle of the cake, like so, you see, and then you go down on the side of it. Okay, so it looks really good. So make sure you go right to the bottom of it. I say it's icing, so it's like playing with dough really. So you see, when you go a little bit like that, just put it out and put it back again. But it's icing, so it will always be flexible. Okay, so when you've done that, you sort of cut around. Not too close yet. We have to do another cut when we sort of nearly done right at the end. Okay, there we go. So that's our white icing for the cake done. So now I'm going to take my cake, and obviously I still got my metal plate underneath. So I'm going to turn it around. So I'm going to put it on that greasy paper again. Turn my cake around. Okay, and take my metal plate off. There we go. And then I just push the icing underneath the cake, like so. Okay, so hope it's easy. Hope, Laura, you following me? You see, so fairly easy. It's like wrapping a present. There we go. So that's our white icing done. So I'm going to put the metal plate again because I need it for holding the cake. So there we go. We have our cake with white icing. Done and lovely. So now with the rest of the white, if you want to do a little decoration around, you know, sort of like that, and you just put it around the cake, you can. Okay, so let's do our water lily. So put the water lily in the middle of the cake. At the moment it just looks like a round bit. So you take that little thin strip we did earlier and just put it around the water lily. Okay, what we'll do a bit later, we're going to put a bit of water on it, so put it around. I'm just going to take a little bowl of water because it's a bit too much. It's a bit too much. There we go. So I'll do like that. So just go around. Just too much icing sugar on it. So all right. So make sure you don't go on the white because otherwise it will, the color will bleed on it. So just stick it all around, like I'm doing now. Okay. So it's a bit of a, it's not an easy one, but it's possible to do. And don't forget, all the white will disappear because we can put a bit of water on it right at the end. So we are, just make sure I'm not in front of the camera so you can see. And a little cut right here. There we go. So that's our water lily done. Now for the effect of the water lily, well, very simple. I'm just going to put a bit of water in the middle. It looks more like a water lily. Now for the middle, basically for the effect, you just go like that. Oopsie daisy, and I've destroyed my water lily. Now if you are getting a bit nervous with it, don't worry, just put it in the fridge so it's going to harden again. So you see, just do some little marks like that, and then you've got your water lily. Okay, now let's do our frog. Now to do the frog is very simple. So a bit of water on the icing again, just to get rid of the white. So you see, nice little sausage, which I'm going to put it here. Okay, I hope you can see. Then I'm going to take the white one, so a bit of water again, just make sure the white icing is gone. So I'm just going to put them here above. Okay, now at the moment it doesn't look like a frog, you're going to see. So same again on the small one, a bit of water, and that's going to be his mouth. Let's do the other one, a bit of water. So I'm going to redo this one, it's a bit too. There we go. So there you have the mouse. Now what we're going to do is take a little bit of yellow one. Okay, a little bit of yellow one. So for this one, what you do a little flat. So it has to be a little bit smaller. You see, a little bit smaller than the eye itself. There we go. That's one. Let's run it a little bit more so they're both equal. Okay. And then we take a little bit of the black. Now just a little bit. So you do two little long strip like that, little rabbit poo, if you like. And that's one eye. And that is the other one. Okay, there you have it. So I'm just gonna make it a bit more smiley. little frog in the middle of the cake, and you got your icing sugar all around. So make sure before you serve it that you are put in the fridge, because the icing needs to harden from now. And you can always sort of, when the icing is actually hard, it's actually easier to fix the little details you can't fix straight away. Okay, so you got your thing, and then you can just write happy birthday right on the top here, and then maybe the edge underneath or something like that. Okay, that's the principle of icing a cake with a bit of decoration. So there we go, a little frog on the water lily. This is our cake. Hope it looks like a frog. So I'm going to put it in the fridge. So Laura, I hope this helped you for your birthday cake making for Noah. This is going to be on a video. It's going to be on my dinnerwithjp.com, accessible anytime, so you can actually do it whenever you want. All right, I hope you have a lovely birthday, Noah. Laura, you take care. Everybody, thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you soon.